All right, happy Wednesday and welcome to the Zone Live, Week 8. I know last week when we said Week 7, it was kind of a little bit of a shock. Week 8 really kind of brings it on home, guys. I mean, this is, we're getting into crunch time now. I'm Jack Stallard. I'm sports editor at the Longview News Journal. To my left is Hayden Henry. To my right is Brandon Ogden. Glad these guys made it back today. They've been over in Tyler today talking a little basketball. But it's football time now, and we're going to jump right into some games. We've got some great games this week, including a Thursday night special. Tomorrow night, Big Sandy plays at Ore City at Rebel Stadium in Ore City. This one should be a great game, but it was going to be an interesting game no matter what the circumstances, because you're looking at two teams last year that finished 0-10. Bottom of the barrel last year. Ore City was 1-9 the year before that. So I mean, this is a team that's just really struggled. And Coach Tracy Blankenship has got the Rebels playing really good football right now. And Big Sandy, they bounced back great under Coach Larry Minter. And this is a big game in the district standing. Big Sandy opened up with a loss last week to a very good Union Grove team, and Ore City has kept rolling. They're 6-0, 1-0. Just a lot to like about this game, guys. Just again the fact that these two struggling teams last year, and look at Ore City for a couple of years. They're doing some good stuff, and should be a lot of fun. Brandon, what do you think about this game? I mean, this is a pivotal game, especially for Big Sandy.
Yeah, for Big Sandy, I mean, they got probably two of the toughest teams in that district. They play them, first and second. But for Ore City, they're undefeated right now. The pressure's probably mounting on them a little bit. They got Union Grove next week, so they need to not look ahead, because Big Sandy's going to present a tough challenge for them. And so, it's a big game for both teams to, for a chance to fight Union Grove and, other teams in that district for a district title.
Yeah, this one, a couple things that jumped out at me on this one. Ore City, they're plus 16 in the turnover category. I didn't realize that until I was looking at the stats. They've come away. They've turned the ball over 8 times, but they've come away with 12 fumbles, 12 interceptions. So I think a big key for them is going to be maybe forcing those turnovers.
And they got a great quarterback, Colton Olshouse, who was our player, ETVarsity.com Offensive Player of the Week this week. So, him and DeMontre Neal have really helped carry that offense.
Right, and they're both teams pretty balanced, between a run and a pass. So that one should be a lot of fun. Again, that game is tomorrow night, Thursday night game at Ore City. So that one should be fun. Let's go to our ETVarsity.com Game of the Week, and I think we've already had a bunch of people chime in and say, "Hey, this is the game." Had at least 3 people say this will be the game. I used to call it the game I'd pay to see if I had to pay to see games. And number 10 ranked Gladewater against number 9 ranked Atlanta up in Atlanta. Gladewater's 5-1, Atlanta's 6-0. Both of them opened up district play last week with a win. Hayden, what are your thoughts on this one?
Just a great game. A lot of people kind of irked that the two flipped in the poll this week, and they're both deservedly so to be up there. On my way to Texarkana, I might have to stop in Atlanta and watch a little bit of this one. But, I think for Atlanta, a team that's, undefeated, riding high, we don't know too much about them. It's funny, we were talking the other day when we were looking up some history. My first year with the News Journal, I saw a young Chase Musgrove as a sophomore beat Gladewater.
Right.
The two teams played again last year. Obviously, Musgrove's grown. Obviously, Gladewater's a lot different. Definitely eating some crow this week over my Tatum over Gladewater pick. And really made a statement with that win last week, I think. Musgrove thrown for over 1,000 yards, rushed for 414, no interceptions. Gladewater's got 2 picks on the season, but they've broken up 25 passes. Right. So I think that's going to be a big key. Really, the clock, I think, is going to be a big key in this game. Atlanta's defense has got to get Gladewater off the field. Something that's not easy to do with over 2,000 rushing yards combined between all of those backs they got. So they got to get Gladewater off the field, let Musgrove get in there and do his thing.
Right, I agree. And I think with Gladewater, the key is going to be obviously run the football, which they do as good as anyone in East Texas right now. They've got 5 kids with over 240 yards rushing. They spread it around real well. I think the main thing, you mentioned that Chase Musgrove has yet to throw an interception this season. He's got 14 touchdowns. I think, the key to changing that is going to be Dalen Mack and Quintarius Turner creating some havoc and getting in his face and really putting the pressure on him. And those guys can do it. Dalen Mack, everybody knows about Dalen Mack. This kid's just phenomenal. He's already given a verbal pledge to Texas A&M. 3 sacks, 20 tackles for losses this year so far. Quintarius Turner, 3 sacks, 9 tackles for losses. Just between those two, I mean, that's a load to try to handle. One thing I would love to see, I don't know if it'll happen, but if you remember last year in a playoff game, Gladewater won 34-33 against Atlanta. And in that game, Dalen Mack rushed for 178, 179 yards. Did you cover that one?
Yeah, I
Brandon?
was there. It was at Lobo
Yes.
Stadium. I was a witness to that. It was pretty incredible.
I would like to see first play from scrimmage. They hand the ball to Dalen Mack just to bring back a little nightmare for the Rabbits and see how they handle that one. But should be a lot of fun.
When you talk about Musgrove, when I talked to Coach John Berry before the season, the biggest improvements outside the kicking game for Gladewater was the passing game, offense and defense. Their secondary is so much better than it was last year, and I think they'll do a good job against Musgrove and the Rabbits.
Should be a great game in Atlanta tomorrow night. Friday night. We don't want to give too many Thursday games here. All right, Hayden, the next game up, on the list here is Longview at Texas High. The thing that jumps out to me in this one is Longview really has done what I think everybody thought they would do when district play started. They've just dominated. I mean, they have just been a dominant football team. Everybody, I think, has now forgotten that 0-2 start. They've won 4 in a row, including 3 in a row to start district play. One thing I'm sure you're going to talk about, quick starts. They've opened every game so far by scoring on their opening possession. So that's going to be a big key for them.
Yeah. I was out there Monday after practice, and Coach King told his team, I guess you could call it a warning, that, hey, a month ago, not a lot of people were talking too highly of the Lobos.
Right.
Don't forget where you started. So, this is a pivotal 15-5A game on the road for Longview at Grimm Park. They always talk about how hard it is to play there. Texas High is, got a great fan base. It's really kind of it's a real nice place, but it's real small. It's real loud. This is the 62nd meeting between the two teams dating back to 1922. Longview leads the series 38-22, pretty even there. Longview won 28-25 in 2009. So a close game in their last district matchup on the way to Longview going to the state finals. So, that game came down to a crucial third down conversion, which was real big for for the Lobos last week. Did 6 of 8 against Marshall. Big key, Like you said, been dominant. They've outscored district opponents 178-33. Scored 56 points against Marshall, which is not something I saw happening. I don't think it's something Coach King saw happen. He said, they could play that game 100 times and that wouldn't happen. Coming out firing, got points on all 6 games on their opening possession. 176 first half points this season, 70 in the first quarter, 63 in the second quarter in district play. Desmond Chumley's completed 70% of his passes in district. They've only thrown the ball 12 times total in the second half in district action. Big thing. Another thing that really got it going last week in Marshall is the defense. 17 stops behind the line of scrimmage, and that was big. Their secondary's coming along, 7 interceptions in the past in district. Amaron Dean, rising junior, with 3 straight, and they got defensive scores in all 3 district contests. That defense is averaging or allowing 1.5 yards per carry.
Wow.
And they're going to see Javon Thomas, a big 6'3", 208-pound, 4.4 speed, Tulsa commit, solid back. Saw him against Kilgore a couple weeks ago. They got a sophomore quarterback, and Texas High defense leads 15-5A with 11 interceptions. So, getting out there, scoring first, scoring quick, maybe not even first, but scoring quick is going to be a real big key. Converting third downs, setting up the run game, setting up the play action, and just limiting the stakes.
Right, I think this is a game you don't want it to be close if you're the Lobos, because Texas High has been in a lot of close games so far. I think we have a question.
2 questions for the Lobos. How far do you think Longview will go this year?
That's a tough question. 15-5A and 16-5A meet up in the first round, and early speculation looks like John Tyler or Lufkin in the first round. 2 teams that Longview lost to in the first and second weeks of the season. I think we play those games right now. Again, they're going to have a little different outcome. I don't know who wins. I just know they'll be a little closer than what we saw in August. So, that's a tough question. Coming out of the gate, that's tough. That's a big key for Longview right now. They're dominating. They're doing like you said, what everyone thought they would do in district, but it's not the time to get complacent at all. They got to keep doing it, keep getting better every week, and they are. So
I think at the start of the year we talked about, I thought they would go at least 4 rounds deep, and I haven't changed my mind on that. I say at least 4 rounds. but it could be a one and done. With if they run into a really solid team in that first round. But if they make it past that round, who knows? They may go all the way.
Do you
Next
think the
question.
Lobos will be undefeated in district?
I think so. If they keep taking care of business, I think Friday night is obviously a big key in going undefeated in district. Texas High is a formidable opponent for sure on the road at Grimm Park, so this will be a good one.
Good Sulphur Springs team still down the road, but
Yep.
if you go on the road and beat Texas High, I think you've got a good shot. So, all right, let's move on to some other games. Kilgore and Carthage. This one, I think Brandon said it yesterday. If you'd have told me these two teams had combined for 3 wins, we would have thought we would have been talking about maybe week two of the season because, again, it's been a strange season for both of these teams. Kilgore's sitting at 2-4. Carthage at 1-5, and I don't think anybody saw that coming. But if you look at Kilgore, especially 4 losses by a total of 13 points to some really good football teams. Intriguing matchup, and for one reason, this is a rematch of a state championship game, right?
Yeah, I'm definitely in. These teams are so much different than they were last year, especially Carthage. I mean, they're new players at all the main positions, and they're very young all over. And Kilgore's got a lot of the guys back, but they lost them, especially on defense. Kilgore really got gutted from that team. So different teams, but still a very important game in that district race. And a race that obviously Henderson included itself in last week with a big win over Carthage. So Carthage, they got to find a win. They're at home again. Can't find the last time that Carthage lost 2 straight home games in district. And if they lose this week, that would be the case. And I mean, it'd be hard to find if that's ever happened.
Yeah, it should be a great game. I have another question.
Predictions on Kilgore and Carthage going back to state.
Wow.
Well, they both can't go. Only one could go.
That's an easy way to answer
I,
that.
I would say right now. I mean, I still think Kilgore. I mean, looking at the schedule they've played and the teams they've lost to by close margins. I mean, they've lost 4 games by a total of 13 points.
Correct.
Against teams that are 24 and 4, 20 and 4.
4.
Yeah. So Kilgore, once they get in the playoffs, they're not going to. The rest of the year they're not going to see teams they saw in non-district. So I like Kilgore's chances to make a deep run. But Carthage too, Coach Surratt's going to get that team rolling eventually.
Carthage is going to be okay. I don't think this is Carthage's year. Sorry, Bulldog fans. But I think quickly that turnaround's going to come back. Look at them next year. Look at them the year after that. Kilgore, I'm not counting them out. I mean, look at 2-4, and you say that now, and you're like, wow, this is a state championship team, but. They're getting healthy. They're getting guys back. They throw the ball this year much better than they threw the ball last year. They still have the power running game like they always have. So it's not out of the question that Kilgore could at least play for another state championship. So all right, a few more games to get to, guys. Have a great week. We'll jump back. We kind of skipped over Pine Tree and Mount Pleasant. I realize 0-6, 0-3 both teams. I like what I'm hearing about Pine Tree. I especially like what they did last week. This is a team that had Texas High, a good Texas High team. It was 21-21 in the fourth quarter. Got away from them a little bit then, at the end. Mount Pleasant, hard to figure these guys out. They'll get blown out one week, and then last week they played a tough game against a good Hallsville team. So, if you have any prayer of making the playoffs or salvaging any type of season, you got to win this game. So that one should be a lot of fun.
Coach King, I asked him about, we were talking about Texas High, and he brought up that Pine Tree looked very good last week. So,
Yeah,
that's definitely heading in that direction.
Yeah, I think Coach Collins has them heading in the right direction. And Hallsville, let's not forget Hallsville and Sulphur Springs back in 15-5A there. Both teams, Hallsville 4-2, both teams 2-1 in district play. Bottom line, Hallsville's got to stop Larry Pryor. This is a kid that we picked in our preseason dream team as our preseason player of the year. Started out slow, but now you look up, all of a sudden he's leading the district in passing, leading the district in rushing. So, Hallsville scored 65 points last year, gave up 38 against Sulphur Springs. I don't think you want to try to do that again this year. I don't think you want to try to run a track meet with Sulphur Springs. So, Bobcats need to play some defense in this one. A few more games, big games coming up. We've got Spring Hill at Pleasant Grove. How about those Spring Hill Panthers last week, jumping out and getting a win against Center to open up district play. I think this is going to be a close game. Pleasant Grove's 4-2. They got hammered pretty good last week against a good Atlanta team. I think it'll be a close game, and if it's a close game, I really like Spring Hill in here, and you know why.
Yeah, and this one Spring Hill really has to get because their final 3 are against Tatum, Gladewater, and Atlanta. So you got to win this one. I mean, not to say they can't win with those final 3, but your chances look good. If you're 2-0 heading to those 3, you got to feel good about your chances of possibly still in a playoff spot.
I really like what Coach Sartain is doing. We kind of talked about it on the way to Tyler today. He's, the talent and the size. And they're not a big team,
And they're
but
tough.
I think that's the big key, and I think that's what Mark Sartain is really bringing to the table is instilling the toughness.
Yeah.
There's no excuses out there.
Yeah, and if you look at Spring Hill, that's been the case for years as far as all the sports. You don't want to tangle with Spring Hill. They got tough kids and they play hard. A couple other big games on the agenda. White Oak at Sabine. Sabine opened up district play with a win over Jefferson last week. That's a big one. White Oak really needs to get some stuff going. Alto and Carlisle. Alto's 5-0, 1-0. Carlisle's 5-1, 1-0. And throw this one out there for 6-man fans. If you haven't seen a 6-man football game, Fort Worth Covenant is going to visit Trinity School of Texas. That's also a 7:30 game Friday night. Both of these teams are 6-0, 1-0 in the district
And
or in
both
the
teams
conference.
score a lot.
And both teams, if you want to see some points on the board, Fort Worth Covenant's averaging 55.2 a game. Trinity School 61.8. Yes, it's 6-man, but it's a lot of fun to watch. And Trinity School Texas, they're 6-0. That matches their total, their best win total in the history of the school. They've been playing 6-man for 5 years now, and they were 6-5 in 2012. So good things going on at Trinity School. If you want to see some 6-man football, there's your chance. All right, that's all of our time for today.
One more question.
We have another question. Great.
Yeah. Do you think Gilmer will go to the state championship this year?
Yes. Just if I had to guess, and we said it early in the year, and I tell you what, they've done nothing, and we did just kind of blow past Gilmer because hey, they're 6-0, they're just killing teams. They are playing at home finally. This is their first home game. They just got McLean Carter was the Built Ford Tough Texas High School Player of the Week in Class 4A. They got everything going for them right now. I wouldn't bet the rent money because you shouldn't do that. But Gilmer's going to the state championship game if I was guessing, and I think that would be a pretty safe bet. All right, we're going to wrap it up for today. Thank you for joining us. We're here every Wednesday at 5:30 for the Zone Live, and we appreciate any questions, any comments, and hope you join us next week.